just looking at the just looking at the thumbnail. The thumbnail says one nation, one future, one destiny, some stupid stuff like that. But it's to showcase the hypocrisy, right? The lies and the pretense by the people that have been in power in Nigeria since independence. The people that have been in power in Nigeria since independence 1960, they have been hell bent on making sure that the status quo remains the same. And what is the status quo? A country where the majority of the people are poverty stricken and easily controlled, and then a tiny minority that make up the oppressors. They make up the so-called elites. They would remain perpetually in control of the masses of poverty-stricken people. That is the game plan of Nigeria. But welcome to the African Wahala. The APC, they call themselves All Progressive Congress. The word progressive should not exist in the lingua of the APC. The APC is the political party currently running Nigeria. They have been running Nigeria since 2015. So for 10 years, these guys have done a great job in finally destroying. They've completely destroyed Nigeria, okay, the APC. Before the APC came into power, it was the PDP. And if I'm being very, very honest, the PDP was not any different from the APC. The only difference between the PDP and the APC is they were less inclined towards terrorism, the PDP. But the APC has every trait of the PDP plus terrorism. When I'm talking about terrorism, I'm talking about like Islamic jihadist terrorism. I'm talking about terrorism perpetrated by the government on the people. The PDP did the same thing as well. But let me show you some evidence in the APC. So this guy, Bashir Ahmad, right? This is a post, and I got that thumbnail from the guy's social media page. This is a post from Bashir Ahmad today. It says here, different faiths, one nation, one destiny. That looks good, right? That looks, it looks very patriotic, very interesting. It sounds like something that a patriot should be saying. Oh, we are one country, we are one nation, we have different faiths. Some people are Christians, some people are Muslims. But the truth is, it's a big lie. This same Bashir Ahmed, right? He's an APC guy. He worked directly with Buhari, the former president. Now, Bashir Ahmad became extremely wealthy, having been attached to Buhari, because the way Nigeria works is the most lucrative career path is politics. If you can find yourself in politics in any capacity, you become wealthy. You become a billionaire overnight. And that's why everybody is scrambling to become a politician or to become a personal assistant to a politician. You find the police are doing everything possible to be posted to the houses of politicians to serve as private security for politicians, because once you're attached to the politicians, you make a lot of money. That's how you're able to make money. So this is a country where nothing gets created. The only thing that gets created is magical money from politics. The second most lucrative career path in Nigeria is if you can become a top religious person, especially the pastors. I call them pastorpreneurs. If you can become a top religious person and has the ability to control millions of people, bro, you will make so much money in the Nigerian society. Nigeria is a failed society. It's a shame. It's so unfortunate what Nigeria has turned to, right? It's so unfortunate because Nigerians, the victims of Nigeria, the vast majority of the people are decent human beings, they are hardworking, they are kind. But Nigeria turned everybody into a desperate individual, and people do anything for money, right? So let's look at the comments behind this fake hypocritical post by Bashir Ahmad. Look at what people are saying. We were never united as one nation. That's the first comment. And we never will be. And I'm going to get to the interesting part now. The second comment here says, in reality, this Nigeria, dominant, mediocre northern leadership, and that's true because the northern leadership, out of 65 years of independence, has been in power for 48 years. 48 out of 65 to the northern. And the northerners are mostly Muslims, and they completely ruined the country. But we're not going to pretend like the southerners. Right now, a southerner is in control of the country. He's doing the same thing as the northerners. So everybody is just taking their turn to ruin the country even further. Number 2, exploitation of southern resources. Number 3, marginalization of the Igbos. 4, waste of resources on Islamic terrorists. Number 5, repeat of the circle. That is exactly what Nigeria is. Well captured. Because that's what Nigeria is. It's always been that way. The poverty continues. It continues to grow. Right now, we are the country with the lowest life expectancy in the world. What else? The most terrorized country in Africa and the poverty capital of the world. Because of mismanagement of different individuals that have been in power since the fake independence of 1960. Look, this person says, we are not one nation. We are not one destiny. Nigeria is a British company and should be divided to save lives. I completely agree. This is not a country. There is nothing similar about us. We don't have the same ideology. We should have had the same ideology. After all, we are African people. But different vices grew over the decades and separated us. And we became people of different ideologies, constantly clashing, never being able to make up anything meaningful. And we've become the disgrace of Africa. We used to be the giant of Africa. Now we are the disgrace of Africa. It's unfortunate. Look at this picture. This guy here says, Boko Haram terrorists are our Muslim brothers. They shouldn't be killed like pigs. Minister Pantami. Let me give you a quick story about this guy. This guy was a minister for 8 years, Minister of Communications under Buhari, right? He introduced the national identification scheme, and that was pretty much like the social insurance number. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, we don't even know the population of Nigeria. The last time we had a credible population census was in 1992. That's 33 years ago. So we don't know anything about Nigeria. We don't know the number of people. We don't know the people that have social security number. There is nothing like social security to start with, right? But there is nothing. Nigeria is just a mirage at this point because we don't really know the data. Nobody knows what is going on in Nigeria, all right? This guy, Minister Pantami, after being proven to be a Boko Haram supporter, this guy was also responsible for a violent crime that occurred in Bauchi in 2011, or rather 2002, where students were killed. There was a guy that was beheaded because of Islamic extremism. He was rewarded with a ministerial position. After all the crimes that he committed, he was rewarded with a ministerial position to be responsible for the creation of the NIN, the National Identification Number, right? This is a guy that is a Boko Haram terrorist, right? This is a guy that's what he says. He said back then, Boko Haram terrorists are our brothers. They shouldn't be killed like pigs. That is the opinion of Minister Pantami. At the end of the day, Instead of sending this guy to jail, Nigeria made him a minister for 8 years. He became a billionaire because, like I said earlier, once you become connected to the politicians, you become wealthy. He became a billionaire. More people died in the history of Nigeria during that 8 year period. More people died, were murdered by different terrorists in the history of Nigeria during that 8 year period between 2015 and 2023 under the watch of Buhari that appointed this guy, Issa Pantami. So this is what Nigeria is. And then this same Pantami will come around and tell you stuff like, oh, Nigeria is one country, it's our country, we love it, we should be patriotic. Now look at the guy that this Bashir Ahmad that posted this different faiths, one nation, one destiny. Look, people dug out his tweet. This is what this guy said in 2015. I can't pretend or keep silent. I support death penalty for blasphemy. That's my belief, and I do not and will never support Save Kanu 9. So the Save Kanu 9 was a group of 9 individuals that were charged with blasphemy. It's not a funny story, but I have to laugh because Nigeria is just insane. These guys were sentenced to death for blasphemy in a secular country, a so-called country that is so-called secular. What that means is it's not supposed to be a religious country. The constitution, even though it's a fake constitution, doesn't give room for religious incorporation into the system. The constitution clearly says that people have the right to follow any religious beliefs and they have a right to movement. So if you're a Nigerian, according to the fake constitution, you should have the right to move to any part of Nigeria and you should have the right to follow any religious beliefs. But you have people that work directly with the presidency, like this guy, Bashir Ahmad. He is today telling us that one Nigeria, one nation, one future, one destiny. But at the same time, he believes in the death penalty for blasphemy. Tell me that is a real country. Listen, in Kano is a northern part of Nigeria. In Kano, if you drink a bottle of beer in public, you risk losing your life. Are you following me? Let me say that again. A bottle of beer, alcoholic beverage, if you drink that in public in Kano, you risk losing your life. You might get lynched. Very, people have gotten lynched for drinking a bottle of alcohol in public in Kano. Now, Kano is the second largest so-called metropolitan area in Nigeria with a population of over 15 million people. So you that you're not a Muslim, you don't have the right to go to Kano and drink a bottle of beer in public, even though your constitution permits you to. So you tell me, is that a real country? Is that a real country? While your government officials are telling you that they believe that you should be killed if you commit blasphemy according to their religious doctrine, and at the same time, they're coming around to tell you that this is Nigeria, different faiths, one nation, one destiny. These guys are desperate, bro. The APC guys are absolutely desperate ever since the drunken master, Donald Trump, threatened them with an invasion. I genuinely don't think Trump is going to invade because Trump himself is not someone that is really sound in mind. If you ask me, to be honest, I think Trump, personally, I think he's a psychopath, okay? And I can't really take him seriously. But the fact that he's unstable, you also have to take him seriously because people that are unstable, they have the capacity to do ridiculous stuff. All right. So look at his other posts. I'm just going through random Twitter page. My Twitter right now is inundated with Nigerian posts ever since Trump has threatened the APC government with invasion, which, by the way, will not be to the benefit of Nigeria. All it's going to end up being is people are going to be giving Donald Trump an opportunity to brag about, oh, I ended another jihadist extremist event in Nigeria. I'm such a great president. I'm the best president of all time. I deserve, what's that thing called now? Um, the award, the honor. That's what Trump is going to say. The same way Trump went to Congo a couple of months ago, or rather invited the Congolese officials, and they claimed to have ended a war that had been going on in Congo for over 30 years. Trump claimed, I have ended 7 wars, including the Congo War. The war has been going on for 30 years, and I ended it. But in exchange for ending the fake ending of the war, he got a deal. That deal gave the United States control of critical mineral resources in Congo. And that's exactly what Trump is coming to do in Nigeria. But it's just unfortunate that the actual victims of the terrorism going on in Nigeria, they don't have a choice but to cry out to someone. They've been crying out to the Nigerian government for the longest time, and the Nigerian government completely ignores them. As a matter of fact, not only does the Nigerian government ignore them, it intentionally makes sure that their suffering continues. That's what the Nigerian government does. So, for that reason, they started crying out to everybody else. They started crying out even to their potential enemies. And I can't really blame them because when people are desperate, they do anything desperate. And a lot of people come up with the argument that why are you afraid for Trump to control the critical minerals and the resources in Nigeria if the critical minerals and resources have always been useless to Nigerians? Nigerians have never benefited from the critical minerals and resources. So, what is the point crying if the United States is coming to take control of those resources if they can end the insecurity? But the truth is, I don't think they will ever end the insecurity. The only people that are supposed to end the insecurity in Nigeria is the Nigerian government. And since the Nigerian government is not going to end it, then it's the responsibility of us, the Nigerians, to force them out of power or to force them to end the insecurity and the economic challenges. But it's unfortunate that we are so divided that we are not able to come together in a unified voice to force the government to end the insecurity and the economic woes. So this is the Nigerian Wahala, brothers and sisters. Let's look at this guy. Everybody now is being a patriotic Nigerian. Look at this one. He posted a Nigerian flag. Exactly. The first person says, emergency lovers of Nigeria. Who think psychophancy is patriotism? I agree. These guys are psychopaths. None of these guys love Nigeria. Their president doesn't love Nigeria. 200 people got killed in Yelawata. And let me give you guys um a quick common question that I'm asked. Is there a genocide against Christians in Nigeria? The simple answer to that is yes. But I can even break it down a little bit further. There is a genocide against Christians in Nigerians, especially in the Middle Belt region of Nigeria. The genocide is more skewed towards the Christians. The Christians are getting killed in large numbers. However, there is also a genocide against every other group in Nigeria. The Muslims are being genocided as we speak by the Nigerian government. The non-Abrahamic religion followers are also being genocided by the Nigerian government. So everybody is being genocided in Nigeria by the Nigerian government, but the Christians in the Middle Belt region of Nigeria are facing a higher rate of genocide than every other group in Nigeria. So that's my simple answer to the question about if there is a genocide going on in Nigeria. Let's go back to these fake patriotic Nigerians. This guy here says, established in 1914 by Lord Lugard. Yep, that was the genesis of Nigeria. Living peaceful under no one terms. Dissolve the union. It's not working. Let every religion live in peace. You know what the craziest part is? We as African people, one of the reasons why we are eternally confused is because not only did our was our were we colonized in terms of getting access to the economics and stuff like that, but our religions were taken away from us, and we refused to go back to our religions. We instead chose to stick to the Arabic religion or the Abrahamic religions in general. That's what we decided to stick to. So we removed ourselves from our true essence. And for that reason, we are on a perpetual basis trying to be like other people. We are no longer ourselves. We are confused. We don't even speak our languages. We are just confused, right? Hopefully that would end with more conscientizing of the people and more education on the people. But as it stands right now, we are very confused people, okay? And religion is one of the biggest tools that was used to confuse us. That's why people today are trying to kill one another based on foreign religions that we have no business with, right? Everywhere. Look, Nigeria is getting so crazy. We are looking at all these MAGA. So, MAGA, the American political group, MAGA, Make America Great Again, Donald Trump people, they are all talking about Nigeria. This guy says, Mike Pompeo, President Trump is absolutely right to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern over the ongoing systematic violence and persecution against Christians. You know what's funny? Trump is not even a Christian. Does a man that says, grab her by the pussy, does that sound like a Christian to you? Trump is definitely not a Christian. All these MAGA, they are celebrating because Trump said he wants to invade Nigeria, right? Let me show you what one of these psychopaths, fake lovers. So look at this lady. Her name is Laura Luma. A story was posted in 2017. It says over 2,000 migrants have died crossing the Mediterranean so far this year, according to the nation.com. Laura Luma here says, good. Here's to 2,000 more. So she's celebrating the perishing of 2,000 Africans that crossed the Mediterranean Sea. How come the same lady that is happy about the mass death of African people all of a sudden loves African people? She says here, thinking of all the Christians this morning who are being slaughtered by Muslims in Nigeria and Sudan. Just shut up, Laura Luma. You don't love no Christians. You don't even love Christians in America. You definitely don't love no Christians in Africa. Just shut up. This is the hypocrisy of these people. And if you think these are the people coming to save you as Nigerian people, you're wrong. Yes, we have a problem with our government. They are absolutely useless. What we are supposed to do is to force them. And I feel like right now is the perfect opportunity to go out there to protest. Go out there to protest against insecurity, protest against terrorism, and mass kidnapping. That's what we are supposed to go out there and start protesting against. Because right now, the APC government, because they are cowards, right? They are frauds and they are spreading propaganda to prove like they are patriotic when we all know that they are not. If the people go out there to protest, the APC government is less likely going to use brutal force against the protesters because they are afraid of Donald Trump. The coward APC government is afraid of Donald Trump. So if people go out there to protest right now, more than likely they're not going to be met with the highest level of brutality. But I'm going to round up the live stream right now. Let me know what you think. This is the current situation of Nigeria. Donald Trump has made the APC gang of criminals to tighten up, but they are not going to tighten up. Eventually, Tinubu, the APC leader, is going to sign a deal with Donald Trump. In that deal, he's going to give the United States of America access to the natural resources. So the United States will be controlling the resources in Nigeria. And we've seen some American MAGA politicians make suggestions about where they want to situate their American military base when they eventually invade, if they do. They are talking about situating it in Port Harcourt, very close to the crude oil, to the oil reserves in Nigeria. So we understand what the game plan is. Tinubu is going to go strike a deal with Trump. Hey, Mr. Trump, give us weapons, support us in the fight against terrorism, which we all know they will not fight against any terrorism. Trump is going to sign that deal in exchange for control over critical minerals, and then they are both going to be happy. Trump is going to be happy, Tinubu and his APC thugs are going to be happy, and we, the Nigerians, are going to remain victims. And that's why it's our own responsibility to go out there and force the hands of the corrupt government to either do the right thing, which I don't believe they ever will, or to force them completely out of that position. Thank you for joining me on the African Wahala. Subscribe to the channel. Click the like button. Make sure you click on the like button. Um, click the like button, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Peace.